All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to my February card class. I know it might seem like it's a little early to be thinking about Easter bunnies, but we've had a lot of popularity with our holiday punches. And so I thought we would go ahead before the bunny punch sold out, go ahead and snag a class in with the Easter bunny. So I'm really excited to play with this set. We have a lot of projects planned. I'm going to kind of show some hints and tips and tricks because we have several cards and 2 home decor pieces. So if you have your packet, then you can kind of follow along. Hopefully you have the Easter Bunny stamp set and the Bunny Punch. And the other thing I included was a package of the loose daisies and the sunshine and rain designer series paper, which is fun. So I actually cut some of that for you because there were some pretty complicated cutting directions in order to like get the right pieces for the right projects. So just FYI. All right, I'm going to start with the cards first, and then we're going to come back to the 2 home decor pieces. So the cards, we're going to tackle probably the toughest card first, I think, which is probably not going to be as tough for you guys, but it's a shaker card. So in your packets, so you have several card packets. You have a card packet in a long slimline envelope, a green one. You have one in a long slimline envelope that's a gray one. Then you have 2 card packets that are in white envelopes. One is, they're both white card bases, so it won't help you. So one has a full sheet of the cloud or like a quarter sheet of the cloud paper, and that's it. So that's a really simple card. So we're going to set that one aside. Yeah, that's the cloud one. And then we're going to tackle the other one, which is the one that's going to have a shaker piece on it. So I'm going to kind of show you guys how to put this together, give you some tips and tricks, and then we'll decorate the front of it with a little bunny and a sentiment. So I'm actually, we're going to kind of start over. I pre-cut your window piece for you, but I want to show you how to do it. I figured it might be a little fussy. So I thought, well, let me do it for you guys, but I'll show you how to do it. So the bigger one is going to be the one that has the hole in it. And we're going to put our window sheet in there. And then the smaller one is actually just, you have a small piece in there for the bunny and the sentiment. So don't worry about that. We'll set that aside right now. And then you've got a piece of sky and a piece of daisy paper. And that's going to be what kind of makes up the inside. So let me show you how to do this. So on your board, so if you have a stamping trimmer, it has a scoring blade and a cutting blade. So I always remember deep dark. So the dark one is the one that cuts. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut a 1-inch border all the way around. So in order to do that, we're going to start here at the 1 inch. So I'm just going to move it over to 1 inches. And then I'm going to move, there's a 1-inch mark here too. So I'm going to start at the 1 inch. That's my start point. And I'm going to go to 4 1/4 because it ends at 5 1/4, right? I'm going to lift it up. I'm going to rotate it again, 1 inch. I'll bring this guy back at 1 inch. Now, luckily, hopefully, he's going to pick up right there where we left off. And we're going to cut from 1 to 3 because we go to 4. So 1 to 3, right? And cut that side. Now we're just going to repeat what we did on the other side. So we go to the 1 inch mark. And we go to 4 1/4. And then Come over here. We go to the 1 inch mark. I'm gonna go to 3. And if we did it right, it'll pop out. If it's not quite right, or you're maybe a little conservative, then you might have to pull it or trim it out. Okay. But now we've got our frame and we've got our back piece, which is good. So, pardon me. All right. So now we're going to get some glue, and I'm just going to use wet glue. You can use tear and tape. You can use, whatever you want. I'm going to see which one I want. Okay. So I'm going to put some glue around here. There we go. So I'm going to lay some glue down, and we're going to glue our window sheet down. And then I'm going to put some glue here too. And I want to make sure to see as much as sky as possible. And it's going to overhang a little bit, and that's okay. Which way do I think they're going? And I'm just going to butt the two of them right up to each other. Okay, good. And then I'm going to flip it over just so I can give it a press and know that, no, this is on here really good. Okay, so while that's drying, we're going to stamp our bunny. And this class, to do the coloring, it uses Memento and the watercolor pencils. It's not using the blender pen. So what you're getting with this class is more of a sketchy effect on the little bunnies. And that's okay. I'm fine with that. We're not going to get a watercolory look. We're going to get a more sketchy look. If we were going to use that blender pen, we would probably want to use StazOn ink, because then we know it's not going to run. You can use StazOn ink with your photopolymer stamps. It's a chemical ink, it's a permanent ink, but it's just a little more aggressive it's harsh on your stamps. And so you just need to be careful when you do that. Now, there's 2 ways that you can put the sentiment on a card front. You could stamp and fussy cut them out on a piece. You could also just stamp them on the card pieces. And that's actually what I'm going to do on this one, because I don't want to have to fussy cut this. This one says, "It's a new day. Enjoy all the little moments," which could be great for different folks. I'm actually just going to make this one a Happy Easter card, because I see no reason. Happy Easter card is useful. I've got lots of folks who I will ship Happy Easter cards to, so I'm just going to make this a Happy Easter card. So I'm just going to stamp Happy Easter right there. And then I could attempt to stamp it on here, but I can feel how uneven that is. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to stamp it on a spare piece. And then what I'll do is I'll fussy cut it out. All right. So when you're fussy cutting sentiment pieces like this, remember, you leave your cutting hand still and you move the paper. And that's what will give you a nice look. You don't have to be super precise. And you're going to leave a little cloud all around the sentiment. And sometimes I just cut straight across because it's easier. If you wanted to dip in, you could. If you didn't want to, you could just clip around it. You could also stamp and punch the sentiment if you have a punch. You could just banner cut the ends. There's a lot of things you can do. And if the edge becomes too much, you can always just clip it away. But it'll show you kind of the two different looks and kind of what that looks like. So, all right, that we're going to put on here. It'll go like that, and we'll put it up with dimensionals. So, all right, so this guy we need to color with some watercolor pencils. So I'm going to use probably, maybe I'll use like the brown, like an early espresso. Definitely want some blue for his eyes. And then we need some pink for the inside of his ears. And we need some green. What's this? Green. Sure. Because we're going to draw some stems for this little batch of daisies that he's holding. Yeah. There we go. All right. And then we're going to color him in and do his ears. So you're going to add some shadowing with your coloring. So you can do kind of, darker in the bottom and then lighter. Using Pacific Point for the eye. Oh, so cute. And then I'm going to put a little bit of pink on the paw pad. This is Flirty Flamingo. And you could color this with anything you have. Like if you've got other pencils or matte pencils or something. This doesn't have to be, super precise. So we're going to color him darker near the bottom, right? Because we have shadows on the bottom. And then kind of get a little lighter as we go up. And like color his little paw. And I like to color in round circles, kind of gives a softer look, doesn't make such harsh lines, but there's our little guy. He looks cute. So, all right, so we have to fussy cut him too. The punch only punches one of the three bunnies out. So, and I think this is definitely the hardest card of the 4 cards that you're going to make. But I also think it's probably, I don't know. I think it's pretty cute. And everybody loves getting a shaker card. Everyone's always marvels that you can do this. I do recommend when you ship this though, I mean, you could hand deliver it. But you can also put one of the butterfly stamps on. It's like a hand cancel stamp. And so you can go to the post office and ask them like, hey, can I get a sheet of butterfly stamps? They'll know what you're talking about. If they don't, you can say hand cancel stamps. But that way, this doesn't have to go through the machine. And so it won't get flattened when it goes through the machine. So, all right, so he's going to go over there. Super cute. I need to do another one for my other one, but that's okay. All right. So then what you're going to do is if you have some dimensionals, you can use, like if you have some old dimensionals, you can use the sides. I'm going to use this. This is like a weird dimensional sheet that came in a paper pumpkin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece and I'm going to create like a well, and I'm going to put it pretty close. There's a piece of ribbon on it. That's funny. I'm going to put it pretty close to the edge. The reason I do that is the farther away you are, then the more you have to fill the well in order to make the little items seen. So it's kind of a pain if you go too far back, too far out. And if it's white, then no one will see it. Okay, and then I'm going to use these guys in other pieces. I'm just going to put some. So we have foam adhesive strips. You can get those, but you can also probably find a way to do this. So then if you have an embossing buddy, which I don't know if I have one up here on my desk or not, you can wipe this embossing buddy. So an embossing buddy is what you use when you're doing embossing powders, and it prevents static cling. So one of the reasons that I like to use the embossing buddy is then it'll actually, if you just put a little tiny bit of that powder in there, when you dump these guys on here, they won't like cling to it. So there's two ways to do it. You can dump it in the well, and then you can take your piece and you can match it to the back, or you can put your fun things here, and then you can peel this off and meet it where it needs to go. This is definitely probably the easier way because you can see where you're aiming. And that's good because we don't want it to be upside down, right? But see that static cling, you already see it, right? And so what that does sometimes is it like prevents it from, can I even put the stuff on there? There, okay. So now that's nice and sealed, okay? So then we're gonna add some more dimensionals all around the sides to pop this whole thing up. I'm using some black dimensionals because that's what I've got access to. All right. All right, and then we're going to take all the backings off of all of that. And that can be very ugly, and that is okay. The other thing you're going to want to do is put a little bit of glue back on this middle piece. So we're putting dimensionals all around the edges because we've got some height in the middle and we want that height to match there. And then we're going to put a little bit of glue on the back so that when we put it on our card, we will be able to build that just like that. Excellent. And now you've got a fun sticker card. And then we're going to just pop up this guy with some dimensionals as well. I'm down to all my end dimensionals. It's pretty funny. Down to the little pieces. I like to use these sometimes for bunny ears and the like. And then the last piece of this card is to take a few more daisies and we're going to glue them on the bunny like he's actually holding a bouquet of daisies. I'm going to kind of pop him here. And then I'm going to get just couple of these. And going to, I need to get my blue. Okay. Oh, that one. So I'll probably try to put maybe 4 or 5 on here. And I could use some glue dots or some other glue as well. All right. So now we've got a handful. So if you look on the PDF directions, you'll see there's like a sentiment up here and down here. I'm okay just having it on the bottom. This is a cute card. This would be fun on the mantle for sure. So, all right. So card number 1 done. I told you that was the hard one. We'll get through the other ones a lot faster. Don't worry. There's one that's some pretty simple stamping. So, okay. I'm gonna put this back here. Let's do the other white one. All right. So we're gonna do the other kind of standard sized one, which has I'm going to stamp. They're clear stamps, so I keep losing. All right, we're going to grab our little butterfly. And we're going to grab the enjoy all the moments, all the little moments. Now, Memento ink, you can just wipe off with baby wipes. Like that doesn't require anything crazy. All right. And we want the butterfly to be kind of coming, close to the sentiment. So we mount them together, then we can stamp them once. Sometimes you can do that and it turns out fine. Sometimes when you do it, the butterfly is not close enough to the image, but I think this will be fun. All right, and then we're going to grab some colors. So we're going to color the butterfly in. We have a purple, we have a gorgeous grape, and then we have some Night of Navy as a color. And we also have balmy blue and that Pacific Point. So we're gonna get some pretty colors in here. So we're gonna do the dots purple. And because we've already got kind of a light blue background for the butterfly, it makes it even easier. I think I'll kind of come in and do a little bit of Night of Navy in here. Maybe a little Pacific Point. We can kind of decide like, oh, we like that, we don't like that. The nice thing about watercolor pencils is that you can layer color and you can say, no, I don't like that. I want more Night of Navy, or I want more this or that. There, nice. All right. So then with this one, we're just going to glue it. And I'm going to use dry glue, like a seal on this, only because with DSP, sometimes you can see where the wet glue was. And I don't want to be able to see that on this. All right. And then we've got our card base, and we're going to put some dimensionals on the back of here. Down the corners. Okay. I'm going to put it on right side up, hopefully. And then we can take one of our little white daisies and a touch of glue. And put that on there. Nice. All right. So we can let that sit and we can set that aside. All right. So that one was easier, right? All right. So then let's go ahead and let's do the one of the skinny cards, the long skinny cards. So it's the one that's in the green envelope is the one we're gonna do. And this one, we've got 3 bunnies that I actually just pre-punched for you because why not? All right. And we're going to glue all of this here. But before we glue the bunnies down, we're going to wrap a little bit of the ribbon around the neck, and we're going to tie some cute little bows. And then we've got a piece to put the sentiment on. So you could wrap this around and tie a bow. I don't have as much luck with that in tying nice bows. So we're going to do the faux bow, which is still a real bow. But so we're going to flip this over here and make a bow. Maybe. Right. And this ribbon's definitely thin. And, you just want to be patient as you work with it. Get the bow length that you think you need. And then, you don't want the bow so big that it like overshadows the bunny, but that's about right. All right. So then I'm gonna get my all right. Okay. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap a little bit of ribbon just around his neck, and I'm going to put just a little bit of adhesive on the back of his neck. I actually think that the bow could probably cover the whole, I don't know that this is necessary, but it's okay. I'll show you how to do it. And then if you have glue dots are probably the best adhesive to lay down little bows. So your bow on there, and then we can have our little bunny. We'll have a cute little bow. And then we're going to put some dimensionals on the back of him. And you don't need a ton. He's not going anywhere. Probably 2 is plenty. I'm actually going to glue my piece of designer series paper down. Yes, the back of this paper is really pretty. There's lots of fun cards. And this paper is actually the paper that coordinates with this, with February's paper pumpkin. So if you got February's paper pumpkin, you have some of the coordinating suite now, which is really nice. And so you can play a little bit more with that if you want. All right, so we're going to find the middle, hopefully somewhere. Maybe right around there. All right. And then we're going to make 2 more bunnies just like that. So tie some bows. And then hopefully I left enough room at the bottom. I did for my sentiment. So when I tie bows, in order to get good bows, I have the 2 bunny ears. And then I cross the bunny ears and I pull one from behind the other and through the loop. And then I kind of resort myself and figure out, kind of readjust the lengths of the bow part. And then that helps me to kind of tighten and get, the bow I'm looking for. Okay. That's way too. It's too. I will say that this ribbon has a tendency, like you have to be careful, it will shred if you don't have good sharp scissors. The other cool thing you can do with this ribbon is you can color it. So if you have any of the blend markers, the alcohol markers, you can color it. You can also just run it over it on a scratch piece of paper. And then you can also dip dye this. So you could, take some re-inker and you could dye it different colors, which is kind of fun. All right. Bunnies don't need ginormous bows, right? Just regular bows. Still pretty big. There we go. Those are some standard bows. All right. Then we need a couple of pieces for their neck. And then adhesive. All right. My laptop is acting funny today, so if you have questions, let me know. But I'm only on my phone today, so I cannot see them. If you put them in the chat, I will look and see if there's anything. I don't see any chat. Okay, good. All right, so we need some dimensionals. Go 1, 2, 3. Told you we're just moving right through these dimensions. All right, and then we've got another bunny. And we've got another bunny. All right, and then we're gonna get a few more blue dots for our bow. Oh, that's really high. Uh-oh. Oh, he looks a little crazy. All right. And then yeah, that's a little high. I might. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a pick tool and I'm gonna get the pointy part. I'm gonna get another, whoa. I'm gonna get another glue dot that I just threw onto my beverage. And just kind of slidey and it's not where I want it. So I'm gonna actually lift it up. I'm gonna put a glue dot into there and then I'm gonna kind of like slide it down so that it goes down where I want it. All right. I did not know I could fling glue dots like that. That's impressive. All right, let's get our Happy Easter out. And our ink. I know, I double mount stamps all the time. Drives people crazy. That might be too low. No. That's what's good about two pieces, two sides to every sheet of paper, right? We can try again. That's better. All right. So now we have our sentiments. And we have this full panel that we can now put on to the front of our card. Now I put this one in the green envelope. So we have two, these are called slimline cards, and we have two slimline envelopes. And they come in a pack. So you get like, I don't know, it's like 10 green and 10 gray. And I know I packed this one in the green, but I actually think it looks better with the gray one. So I just think that this is a little bit more monotone and looks cuter. So if I'm going to send them later, that's how I'll send them. But for now. Okay, let's tackle the other slimline card. So the other one, let's see, got our pieces, and we've got our cute paper. All right, let's see. So we're going to, we're actually going to wrap a little bit of ribbon around here and tie a little knot. There's a lot of ribbon on this roll. Now, not on mine, because I'm at the bottom or end of mine, but we could wrap it a couple of times before we put it on the card base, and we could get a really cute little, a cute look. So, but I'm going to make sure I wrap it flat, like front to back, and then front to back, and then we'll make sure we're low enough that we're still in the grass, so to speak. And then we're just going to tie a knot kind of in the middle where they meet, and then tie a double knot. Nice. And then once it's on there, you can adjust it, you know. So if you like want to say, okay, I want these to split a little bit more, or, you know, I want this to go here or this to go there, then you can do that. And we're just gonna do that. Okay. So now we have this done. So we can actually put this panel on the front, which is good. And I think we have another white piece. Never mind. We're going to put it on this white piece. And then we're going to put this one on the front panel. Okay. And this just adds a little bit of weight to the cards and makes them a little bit, you know, sturdier. So we're going to Stampin' Punch a couple of pieces. We're going to Stampin' Punch the little side bunny. And then we're going to get we've got that back. And there's a cute little high. So we're going to stamp that as well. And then there's also a little bird. All right. So bunny first. And then I'm going to put the high on this little scrap of white because we're going to cut it out kind of funny. And I'm going to see if that's good enough to get it in the where I want it. I think so. kind of it's a tight, tight piece right there. Let's see. Yeah, I think that'll work. Okay, so we're gonna take that we just cut, and we're gonna kind of trim it into a cute little heart. So now we've got a little high heart, which is cute. We're going to also stamp and cut out. So we're going to punch the bunny first. These are scrap pieces. So whenever you're punching a stamped image, I always try to make sure I look at like the corners, the four corners, and just make sure that all my pieces are lined up before I punch it. Okay. We've got a couple of corners here that we can stamp those guys. All right. And now we're just going to do a little bit of coloring. So we're going to stamp the bird. We'll grab a little bit of orange for his beak. There's pumpkin pie in the watercolor pencils. And then we're going to grab the Bermuda Bay because it's a bright blue, and so it'll stand out. And so I do like to color them, not all like I'm going to make maybe, pieces of him a little bit darker and pieces of him a little bit lighter, and that'll give it some contrast. And then I'm actually going to I'm going to do some more pink. I'm going to do some pink on the butterfly, because I think that'll stand out. I'm going to do a little pink and yellow. Get orange, maybe. Just orange dots. All right, it's your butterfly. Do whatever you want. All right, and then we need to color our bunny. So again, we're going to put a little bit of pink on the ear, right? Maybe a little bit more down, down below. A little bit of brown. And then we're going to make sure that we're going to keep his cottontail white. We're going to make sure his feet are nice and dark. He's going to have like a white belly. So we're going to kind of start darker here. And then we want to make sure there's enough, contrast here so that his white tail stands out. And then there would be a shadow kind of behind his leg. There's going to be some shadows down on his feet again, because he's, going to be darker down below. And you always have to think about, where's your light coming from, right? And what, where are the shadows? Where's the light? He's cute. And then I'm going to do Pacific Point was the blue eye. I like that a lot. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of pink on his nose, just a little bit. Super cute. Okay. And then we're going to cut these guys out. So you've got a little bird. Remember, just leave a little cloud. And if this piece is too big and it's annoying you to, cut around it, and cut that away. And then we're just going to make sure to cut around them. All right. Okay. And then the butterfly. He's pretty easy to cut around. So I'm going to use glue dots to adhere these guys where they need to go. So I'm going to use a glue dot for this one. So glue dot on the butterfly. And he's just going to go, right up there. And then I'm going to get a glue dot for my birdie. And he's going to go near his friend, right? He's kind of on his back, kind of riding along. Then I'm going to flip him over and I'll put some dimensionals on the back of him. If, that's too big of a dimensional. So like, I kind of use the dimensional to adhere the two pieces together as well. So if I can run a dimensional there, that's great. And then maybe I'll do like a small piece on this other part of the V. There we go. So now, all right, that's together. And then, okay. And so I've got my little bunny here. And I've got my high, super cute. And our card is done. So there you go. Okay. So what's left is the, let's go. What's left is the sampler pieces. And as I mentioned in my email, these are pretty involved pieces. So I'm going to show you kind of I'm going to show you the requisite pieces and parts, and then I'm going to have you kind of put them together. If you have questions or you're like, oh, I don't understand how this goes together, let me know. There's two of them. There's this bigger one, and then there's this small one. Can I have a glass? Oh, you can. That's fine. So this one, what we're going to do is we're going to put some ribbon around, and then we're going to do that same kind of like faux bow look. Let's see how that goes. Yeah. Okay. I just ran it. All right. Sometimes I can just pull this plastic right off. All right. So we're gonna take a piece of that, and we're gonna line that. And then we're gonna tie another cute little bow. And again, give yourself enough room to tie the bow, and then you can always trim it down or do whatever you want. All right. And then I don't like that one at all, but let's see if we can adjust it. Oh, here we go. Good. Okay. Perfect. Okay. A little bit shorter. And again, once you've played with this ribbon a little bit, I think it gets easier the more that the more that you tie bows with it. I think the better your bows are going to come out, the easier it's going to be. All right, so we're just going to take our piece of designer series paper. We're going to add a little bit of adhesive on the back. I'm actually going to go ahead and just do the whole thing because when I lay this piece down across the ribbons, I'm going to kind of glue it on the left and the right. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue it in the center on my sheet. That looks pretty good. All right. And then we're going to use our glue dot. And we're going to put our bow on. And excellent. And if you don't like it, you could always put another piece, like another glue dot underneath that if you don't like it moving. So, all right. So you have strips and you're going to cut these. You're going to use these to make kind of a shadow box almost. So you're going to have some dimensionals, and I'm going to use, what I have, my scraps, because that's what I have. But you're going to use dimensionals we're going to adhere the two shorter sides first. So here we go. There's one shorter side. And then it just kind of makes like almost like a shadow box, kind of effect, right? And then we've got the other side. I think this is a nice gift to give to someone who like maybe an older, like senior relative who doesn't want to have a lot of stuff in their house, but maybe wants to put up something for Easter. So I'm going to flag the two ends of these long ones. So I'm just going to cut up the middle and then cut from one corner to the other. I'll do that again. So I'm just going to cut up the middle, and then I'm going to cut from one end to the middle, and then I'm going to cut from the other end to the middle, just a little bit on each end. And then that's going to help us just have a little more pizzazz on that. And so we're going to then put this on with dimensionals. It's a really thick dimensional piece there. Should cut that in for sure. All right. Okay. And maybe not too close to the ends, only because we've already got a piece popped up dimensionals there, but that one might be too close. I have to peel it up anyway. All right, let's move that over. All right, there we go. And then we're gonna bring that on here. Okay, so you're gonna do the same thing with the top panel as well. And then I went ahead and put your letters on dimensional foam adhesive sheets, because I think that the letters are a little bit easier to handle. These are the alphabet a la mode letters. And I think they're just a little bit easier to handle when you have them on the foam. So you can peel them off, and then you can stick them on your project, and they're going to have some height to them, which is kind of fun. So you're going to spell hello spring. I know that it's all out of order, and that probably will freak everybody out, but just, use your best spelling. And you're going to work your letters over. And if they're a little bit crooked or they're a little bit fun, that's okay. This is a fun project. This we don't have to take ourselves too seriously. If you think you're really going to be way off, you can actually make them crooked on purpose, and that will, kind of throw the eye off, and it'll look okay. So, all right. So a couple of other pieces that we're going to add to this. We're going to stamp and fussy cut a bunny, the bunny holding the little carrot. He's going to go over here in the corner. And then there's a couple other things. There's another little bird, there's another butterfly, and then there's one of the floral pieces that's kind of fussy cut and put up in the corner. And again, you can do any of that. You can do all of that. You can do none of it. It's your project, and you get to decide, how you make your project. But I just wanted to show you. So what I did was I took, and this actually, yeah, the smaller S part goes towards the top. So I actually took the white paper and laid it on the foam adhesive sheet and then ran it through my machine. And I did not cut the pieces out because I wanted you to, it's a lot easier for you to just pop them out. So when you use the adhesive sheets with these letters, they're just a little bit harder to manage. And I think that they're just easier to manage on the foam. And I think, foam adhesive letters are fun. So, all right. So I'm going to finish up these letters and then I'm going to show you the other project. So you have the directions for the rest of this project. So make sure that you check them out. If you have questions, please let me know. It's not super complicated. And maybe I would put my rabbit on first, so that I know where to put my letters. Like I think my rabbit might block here, so I might end up putting my rabbit kind of over on this side. I might move some things around myself. So. All right, let's see. Last letter. Excellent. Okay. So there we go. All right, you've got that and you can finish that up. I am sure of it. All right. Now, the last project, which is actually the first project on your directions, is the larger sampler. So this has a lot of pieces, but if you've never made a sampler before, you're basically building something from the bottom up and you're framing your pieces. So I'm going to show you how that works. Kind of remove all this. All right. So we started with a base that is 9 by 9. And then we have another piece that kind of goes on the inside of that. And then as you go, you start to layer your pieces and you start to put your pieces together. So a lot of these layers have dimensionals. So you will, wrap ribbon around them, and then you're gonna kind of put them up with dimensionals so that there's lots of dimension on the project. You can decide, like, if you want this whole piece to be on dimensionals, then you can put dimensionals behind here, or you could lay it flat. If you don't have a 9 by 9 frame, you can always put one of our 12 by 12 white backers in there, and you can make this a 12 by 12 piece. So that's fun. So for most of these, there's just dimensionals, right, and more dimensionals. So I'm going to kind of walk you through the different pieces. So this one just has, it's actually just the clouds with 3 little butterflies. I think 2 of which are stamped on straight and 1 is popped up on dimensional. So that one's pretty easy. This one has a bunny. And he would be holding a carrot, but the carrot's actually cut away and he's holding a flower. So it's that same bunny image. Actually, it's not the carrot one. It's this one. And so you don't have to cut the carrot away. You're just gonna put a little flower in his hand, which is cute. Then this one has, it's not that one, it's this one. It has 3 carrots on it. So just 1, 2, 3. We're going to stamp 3 carrots, and then we're going to have a fun piece. I don't like how white that is on the back. Like it's cut a little weird, which is kind of funny. It's just the way I cut it. So I'm actually going to, let's see if this one's better. Yeah, that's a little better. Yeah. So if you don't like the, if you don't like some of the pieces, just know that you can move things around, right? So that's nice. All right, then this one has a bunny that's also going to be punched out and popped up, right? Then this one down here on the bottom has a sentiment and some flowers popped up. And there's actually a ribbon piece around that one. And then this one has another bunny. I might be one piece cardstock short, maybe. Okay. So then this is a green piece. And what I did for this one, I gave you the letters spring. I gave you some scrap to punch on, cut all your bunnies out and all your extra pieces. And then I just cut this straight. And what's nice about it is that now when I pop this up, I do have to have this little piece for the P though. I'm going to pop it up on dimensionals and you're going to see that it'll show really well. But what's important about this is that you don't worry about, you don't want to see the dimensionals for sure. Like you got to be a little bit careful about that. Okay. We don't have dimensionals here, but let's see. I'm just going to cut these into smaller pieces so that we have plenty of space around here. All right, so here we go. Corners. Do this corner. This one. Maybe we'll put one there. So I'm just trying to support it, but not have it show. Maybe here. And maybe one down here. Okay. So we're going to take all the dimensionals off of this. Backs. You could also just glue it down flat as well. And it would still look cool if you don't have this many dimensionals or you don't want to waste that many. But that P, oh, and there's an R one too. No, I'm not have that one. All right. Hopefully you have both of your little pieces for the middle. I might be missing one of mine. I'll go find it. And then definitely make sure you put it on there right, but I'll put the R in there too. But now you have it where you can see, the paper underneath, which is cool. So just lots and lots of dimensionals, lots of details. Oh, there it is. And this is definitely, some patience goes into one of these. You've got extra spare pieces to, stamp and get all of your things up. If you have many dimensions, those would be great in here too. I do have some minis. And so that's also nice way to, there we go. Nice. All right. So now we've got our spring. So if you've got questions about this, let me know. I'm going to work on this a little bit more, and then I'll post some pictures later in the week of the finished product because I think it'll be really cute in our house. And I think, samplers, when I sell samplers, I sell them for like $20, $25 because they're a labor of love. There's a lot of little detail and little pieces that go into it. So, but they're always lovely, and they're definitely home decor pieces that you can pull out year after year if you put them in a nice frame. So, all right. Hopefully you had fun. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will talk to you later. Please let me know if you have questions. Thanks, y'all. I appreciate everything. And yeah, I'll talk to you later. Okay. Bye, everyone.